Right, welcome to today's webinar of Seidat and Pipedrive integration. Today with Juho, we're going to discuss about the new integration that we just launched today. Actually, it's been uh, in the marketplace for a few weeks, but only with the direct link you've been able to install it. But now it's live, and now we have this webinar where we're going to go through what has been done, why, and show how it works. Before we jump in, there is a live chat you can use. You can message us anytime. We have a dedicated Q&A session at the end if you have any questions. But also behind the camera there is Evert from our team. He's going to reply to simple questions if you have any. And you can also unmute yourself if you have any questions, and hopefully we can hear you just fine. But yes, I'm here with Juho. He's representing a company called Zimple. I'm gonna let Juho introduce himself in just a minute, but I'll introduce myself first. My name is Joona, and I work for Seidat. Seidat is a company that is going to be introduced in a while, but yeah, Juho, you want to introduce? My introduction wasn't that great, so easy to go better.
Yeah, we just had this same webinar in Finnish, so now we have a little struggle for the first few minutes before we are fluent in English again. But yeah, my name is Juho. I represent Zimple. We are a global pipe drive partner and reseller. I myself, I'm in charge of Zimple, and I've been a pipe drive lover for over 10 years now, and I can already almost call myself some sort of expert with that time frame. And while you are still writing something, let me continue. Why we are here, we had this initiation to Seidat that we wanted to build up a nice integration for them, since Pipedrive is growing, Pipedrive marketplace is growing, and we of course want to have the best of the best Finnish sales-related SaaS services, highly regarded there in the marketplace. So we will be presenting a high-quality application for you guys now.
Yeah, and yeah, Juho is going to introduce Zimple and Pipedrive in a bit. But before we jump into that, let's go through today's agenda. First of all, the length is, let's see how long it takes. It can take a little less than an hour, or in the Finnish webinar there was some questions and it took a bit over. But yeah, let's introduce our companies and the products quickly in the beginning. Then let's go into why this tool and the automation has been created, and what are the cases for it. Why should sales use it, for example? Why should marketing use it, and so on. And then let's check step by step what features we have in the automation. And then at the end, we're gonna do live demo. We're gonna show some pieces of the application. It is easy to install, and we're gonna show the gist of it. We have already installed it, but it only takes half a minute to do, but to have some things ready. And then at the end or during, just shoot the questions in the chat, or just unmute yourself like I mentioned before. But if I start with the quick introduction of what Seidat is, for those who might be new to Seidat, we're a cloud-based platform. We're mainly aiming to be a sales tool, but of course a lot of other functions in the company like marketing, onboarding, and others are using Seidat in their daily uses. What we have tried to have in Seidat is the whole life cycle of the presentation journey and the material journey. You typically start with importing material, creating it in Seidat, or using the pre-made templates as the basis, and then you have the presentation phase. You share them, and you might even use the Seidat's e-signature feature that allows you to get signatures to the presentation. So if you're using Seidat for offers, for example, you can use that. And that is basically what this automation is aiming to automate and make it easier for the sales and marketing people to not to do repetitive tasks day in, day out, but to automate them once, and then we let the code of Zimple, the code that Zimple has been creating in together with us, do the work. And few other things. We have some analytics features. We have some team collaboration features, brand settings, and there's a lot of things we could talk for the whole full hour for that. But we have another set of webinars where we go through that more in detail. So if you're interested, you can order the pre-recordings right now, or just sign in to the next live one we have. A few key features to mention. I'm not going to mention all of them, but we have a few different differentiation factors if you compare it to us to, let's say, PowerPoint. One of them being the Seidat matrix structure. So you can have the presentation in 2 dimensions, kind of, that helps you as a salesperson or as a marketing person to keep an interesting presentation to your clients. That is one thing, which has been around in Seidat for a while, but it's still in the core features. And then another one is a feature called Smart Slides. In typical cases, like in our company, we have thousands and thousands of presentations, and there are slides that are basically the same between the presentations. So it might be key figures or something, and we don't want to update them to 1,000 presentation every year. So the Smart Slide feature allows us to only update once, and then the update is there for all of the presentations that use the exact slide. And the last of this quick intro, at least quick in my point of view, is that we want to be a part of the sales and marketing ecosystems, and that means that we have to integrate to different tools. We've had the Zapier integration, that is an integration tool, for a while now, that a lot of our clients have been using for different tasks, and that allows integrating Seidat with thousands of different tools that you might be already using. But now we've been doing the direct integration that streamline the process even further. And then we have had Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics integrations already there for a while also. But yeah, I'll let you continue with Pipedrive.
One introductory stuff about Seidat. For you guys who didn't yet notice, we are actually using Seidat at the moment as our presentation. So enjoy. There will be some nice animations when we go forward. I'm starting first of all introducing Pipedrive, which is an Estonian-based company established over 10 years ago. And the CRM itself that they've been developing has been their main product, and nowadays they are valued for more than over $1 billion in the US market with their new owners. And it has been a great ride for me, especially personally. I've been working with Pipedrive in several different companies and working nowadays for Pipedrive with all the projects that we've been doing. It's really a solid company that it's growing, and we have good future ahead of us with this system. Over 100,000 companies use it from different industries. There's no specialization, but what I would describe, the focus has been mostly with the new sales process. So whenever you want to have new customers, then you've been using Pipedrive, and small and medium-sized companies been using it for a long time already. Now it's even capable of supporting large companies, and that's what we as a company, Zimple, is here for. But one more slide about Pipedrive itself. The software has from the beginning been the focus has been the ease of use, especially for individual salespeople who want to use it on a daily basis, and it has to be easy and pleasant to use and efficient. So nobody feels it's like a mandatory reporting system that you need to use to report to your managers. So it's mainly helping a lot of people's job to do the regular sales tasks. And when the main issue why most of the CRM systems are kind of failing, one reason is the project where the specifications aren't matched. One big reason is that they don't help companies grow if the company itself doesn't understand that this is not a turnkey system that you just take and start to use it. Of course you can do also that, but it's also a new business process that you need to develop, and you need to motivate your people to use it, because if nobody's using it, then you don't need to have the system at all. So you need to make some efforts to build it for you. But the system itself, it's scalable, easy to adapt, and there's a lot of opportunities that will make your sales more valuable as well. And our company, Zimple, we are Finnish-based Pipedrive partner, Pipedrive Elite partner, which means that we are focusing on reselling the Pipedrive licenses, and that way being a partner and a companion for any Pipedrive user for the whole life cycle. When you start using Pipedrive to the point where you want to scale up or even terminate the service for another CRM system. Our uniqueness with Zimple is that we want to make sales superheroes in a way that let us focus on the technical issues with Pipedrive. We are the experts with it because we are only focusing on Pipedrive, and all of our 13 people in-house are Pipedrive experts, and we strongly believe that this system could be used with many more companies that are currently using Excel or other older software that don't really give out the good modern features.
Yeah, and the aim is to be
the world's largest partner.
Yeah, Europe is not enough, but I like the mindset.
Yes,
it's very good. But yeah, we started our story and journey a while back, and you always have to start with the why. You need to have a reason to do it. We only have a limited amount of development resources at our disposal, and we started with a research that we did to our existing clients, and the main focus was what is the process of note taking, and how does it go from the sales to the to the CRM, and is it usable by the other salespersons in the team. And I have the same typo here that I need to point out before anyone else does. The right pie, there's the percentage are mixed, but the point is still there. But yeah, like the problem in many companies was that the notes and the valuable information from the salesperson wasn't transferred. There wasn't a sufficient process in all of the companies to have them in the CRM or in the right place in any case, that could then help other people in the company to do their work also based on that information. And that was one of the key aspects that we started the development, and then we started to build around, not only to have the notes from Seidat to Pipedrive, but also to have the other aspects that are repetitive, pointless tasks in a way taken off by the automation.
Yeah, just one note on the left pie chart here. I think it's quite a big number to have that 53% of salespeople are not even taking out the notes from the notebook to the CRM. I'm just imagining the amount of critical client information that is just left out from the CRM system because there is no way of doing it in an easy manner. Like I know that I know the feeling when you're driving your car and the client is calling. Of course, those are cases where you need a good mobile app or something like this. But while you're keeping a presentation, whether it's live session or offline, there's a lot of dialogue going on throughout the whole presentation. And with this, like, it's a big number of the people who are not taking the notes to the CRM.
Yeah.
Which should be the core of the client information. And
yeah,
horrible, I'd say.
It is horrible, but at the same time, I think part of the problem is that there might have not have been easy enough solution for the salesperson. I don't always think it's like if you don't use the tool that it's like the user's fault. It might be the tools also are lacking,
or the boss's fault.
Yeah, there are plenty of faults to give around, but we will show you later the note-taking feature in Seidat. I have it here. I could take notes right now because I'm using the presenter view that pretty much all Seidat users who are presenting are using anyways. And then when I now type in there, it would be, if this would be a customer meeting, they would be automatically in Pipedrive. So that's the key, that it is as easy as possible. Then there is no extra friction. Of course, if you don't write them here, if you only keep them in your head or you scribble them to the arm thing in the sofa, then that's lost cause. But anyways, but yeah, then we started to figure out like what needs to be built around that note feature, and of course we tried to do all the like I mentioned before, the repetitive tasks, take them off. And it typically starts with creating the material. So you might need a sales meeting material, or you're creating the offer. The automation will take all of that off from the salesperson. So if you have all the data already in Pipedrive, you don't need to copy paste them to another place. Or if not all of the required information is not already in Pipedrive, then you'll just use the automation, but you fill in, you edit it in Seidat later. Both are options, and typically I would say the latter might be the use case in many of the situations that you have part of the information, you want the automation to take care of that, and then when you have the customer meetings and everything, you'll update them later. Then also having as easy way of presenting. So when you're having the meeting, you can present, you can then share the material just using one link. You don't need to create a PDF out of it, send it to the client downloads it and whatever. So it's much easier for both parties. And I think that's the core of the day-to-day things, but also what we've been discussing, the note taking, having them automatically in Pipedrive, having the opening alerts and activities created in Pipedrive is key in all of that also. And then we're going to show you an example of automations you can then use once this automation that we're discussing now has acted, and then the Pipedrive can even add more value to that in the later stages.
Automations after automations.
Yeah. I would like to automate like pretty much everything. If it's possible, then spending a half an hour now and saving 10 minutes each week.
Yeah.
Just simple math. But yeah, let's discuss briefly about different use cases that we've been. Well, this is more speculation at this point because the feature and the integration is so new. But like the use cases that we feel would be the strongest, and of course our users will tell in the later stages how they're going to use. But since main focus of of our use, how people, customers like you, are using Seidat typically is around sales. It's not the only one, but it's the main one. We feel like sales has most to get from this automation. It might be that you need to have personalized sales material. You maybe add the customer name there. You might have the salesperson information there. Whatever the use case is, you might want to automate the sales meeting material or material that you send either earlier or later in the process. Typically also, well, proposals are, in 99% of the cases, they are partly or fully customized to the client's need. You might change the products, you might change the contact person's details, the customer details, when does the offer expire, and so on. So you can automate the creation of those materials easily, and I think these are the main use cases that there will be with this automation.
Yeah, with other words, that Pipedrive is also using the way that we call there is populating the information in the offer template, so that whatever you have in CRM, of course, it would be unnecessary to re-input them in the presentation if you just want to bring in the organization name and the recipient name and etc. So yeah, that's one of the main features here.
Yeah, but then like the customer journey is not only the sales part. A lot of our clients are using, typically not as a primary use, but maybe as a secondary, or some customers are using as a primary tool in marketing also. If you have some sort of marketing material, it might be guides, it might be something else that you're sending to the client. In most cases, our clients in the past, they might have used PDFs, so they created in Adobe products or something, and then they put it there, they keep it there, and then they share it when the customer shares their email or phone number or whatever. But with this automation and Seidat, you could quite easily have custom guides, for example. You might also add the customer's name or contact details of the salesperson who's operating in that region, or whatever it is. You could do that with the automation and share it automatically also with the Pipedrive's automations. So that's like not only thinking about sales. I think that the way of using is pretty much the same, but it's just
many of our Pipedrive clients, they are using it for other reasons. Well, you had this slide here as well.
Yeah,
the next
sorry,
one. Yeah.
Jumping back and
no,
forth.
It's good, but here you have examples of onboarding and recruiting, etc. Pipedrive is specialized in, like, you can create as many pipelines there as you want, and many of our clients are using it for project management or recruiting pipeline, or some even storage management in some cases. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities within the whole life cycle.
Yeah, and like we've used some of these in the past, or some of them at the moment. But the idea is that if you have a pipeline, you have some material that, let's say in recruiting, you want to send a what is it, like homework task kind of thing to the possible employee or the future employee. You can just easily automate that, and you can pretty much automate everything but the interviews nowadays. Maybe there is even tools where you can automate that, but
yeah, true. Yeah, but in Pipedrive you naturally focus on selling, and yeah,
and even with this, it's the same. All right, let's then, to keep on schedule, jump to the next topic, which is what the features are. Essentially, what can the automation do? Hopefully you've been waiting to hear this, and we'll show you in the live demo phase in few minutes these in action, but we will show you them first here. Let's first check how the automation copies the presentation, how it can find and replace content, text, and how it can create links, and then let's go forward from there. But in this animation, you can see essentially one of the ways that the automation can trigger, and by triggering we're typically meaning that something happens and then the actions are following that. So it's the start of the automation. In this one, the trigger is that you move the deal to a certain stage in the pipeline.
Oh, fucking amazing.
Once the deal is moved there, the automation will trigger, and it will copy, in this case, the presentation. It will rename it, and it will start to input the text in it. And I will show you that in just a second. The other way to trigger the automation, or, well, it's not the automation, but trigger the integration, you will be able to automatically, manually, in the deal view in Pipedrive, you can copy a presentation and create a new link, or just create a new link if it's more of a the-go need by the salesperson. So both are options: by the automation, which you only need to create once, or by manually doing, which you can do at any stage. So depending on the need, you might use both. You might only use the automation. It's up to you. And then, like mentioned a few times already, you can find and replace text on the presentation. So this is typically any details you already have in Pipedrive. You can map them out when creating the automation, and then it will automatically update the content. It might be the deal value, it might be the contact details, or whatever information you have on the deal. You can then have it already or automatically populate
to make the presentation look more personal for the audience.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last thing about these few topics here, the automation already also creates, sorry, again, English is hard. It will copy the link, and it will add a note to the link note in Seidat. So this is the view from Seidat. And the link note is especially important if you're using the same presentation. You're just creating a new link, unique individual link for a specific client. It might be because you're using it for the guide or whatever. And then you might have hundreds of links in one presentation. And then at the end of the day, you might not know which one is which. So this is important. And also, one thing I want to mention from Seidat's features is the possibility to turn on the notifications. This is a bit overlapping with what we're going to show you in a bit with Pipedrive, but you can also have Seidat application to send you emails about link openings. So when you share the material, 2 months later, the customer opens the material, and you can get an email automatically from that. Yes, if I can move my mouse back here, and I'll take a sip of water. And then let's discuss quickly about the tracking and activities possibilities that you have. So you have, excuse me, you have few ways to start to track, or the tracking is on, but to have any data tracked, there are a few options. So first, there is the link views. So when you share the link, if the link is opened, it will track that. It will show you how many times the link has been opened. And if you choose to have activities created by the link openings, you can have activities created by that. The other one that we're tracking is the e-signature status. So at the end of the sales process, you might have a proposal that you want to use, or you want to sign by the customer. And then you can start the e-signature process in Seidat, and it will automatically track it with the integration, and then also add activities in Pipedrive for the salesperson. You can see the status, you can see the link views, and you can see the e-sign status, regardless what it is, in Pipedrive. And also you can see the activities. This is a screenshot of the deal view, but you can see the activities on the right side. And then once the salesperson has gone through them, he can mark them done or whatever he wants to do. And then about the features, the meeting notes, mentioned already a few times, but here's a animation of how it works. So you can use one link that you use during the meeting, or you can then share it later if required. But once you use that link, you are typically presenting with this kind of view that I'm actually using here also, where you can select whatever slide you want. You can follow the conversation much more easily. And then on the right side, well, it's not visible now, but on the right side, you have the meeting notes field where you have the log of the slides that are shown, and then you can type in your additional notes there. And the idea is that once you open a certain slide, you might want to write something that relates to that slide, and once the notes are done, or it will automatically in real time update them to Pipedrive. But once the meeting is done, you can go to Pipedrive, like shown here now, and see the notes directly from there.
Yep.
And I think this is pretty cool.
This is unique. I don't think this is existing anywhere else.
Yeah,
combining the note taking within the presentation,
yeah, and then like the beauty of having them automatically in Pipedrive. No matter if I would be the salesperson, Juho would be the project manager, I would type in whatever I want. The project manager could go in 3 months once the deal is closed to check, like, okay, this has been discussed. Now I get it why we're here.
And he has shown this slide, and you have talked about it on this slide, and etc. It's really important information always, and yeah, I think it's really cool and unique.
Yeah, and yeah, of course, like quite basic feature, I guess nowadays is the mobile applications, but the link notes are visible in the Pipedrive mobile app, and also you can use Seidat on any device. On the browser, we don't have an application, but you always have the access, and you can continue the presentation and continue with the notes also.
And maybe one thing to mention at this point would be that the idea with the whole presentation with Pipedrive is that whenever you create a new deal, the presentation usually is like deal specific, where you started with certain material, and during the whole sales process and the timeline, you add maybe some slides or information there. So the one and only presentation might be kept there all the time, updated, and it's always related to the same deal. So it's kind of answering the question, like, how can you manage and moderate the sales documentation throughout the entire sales cycle, and it's a great way to do it.
Yeah,
especially when you get even the notes back to the CRM system,
yeah,
which is lacking, as you saw in the study.
Yeah, half of people are not doing it.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's true, and that's like when we were discussing about the sales ecosystem, it's part of that to have the access by anyone to the material, and also to have them in the correct place. Like, I think it's quite typical challenge that our customers, before they try and start to use Seidat, is that their salespersons might have ton of document to a one client, but they have it on their own devices. They have it wherever, but it's not accessible by your colleagues typically.
Yeah, true. Or it can be even accessible, but nobody goes there because it's in some Google Drive or SharePoint, which there's a lot of different versions of the same presentation, and it's not really helping. But this way you could uniform the whole way of keeping the presentations.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, let's jump to the next topic, to the setup, how it's done, and we're gonna show you a few examples of the automations where we have created one already. By the way, to remind, you can ask questions, please do, if you have any, in the chat or just by opening your mic. But yeah, before I show it in live, I'll show you in few screenshots. It might be easier to get the head around it. First, this is the integration builder that Zimple has helped us create. Well, it's scaled down now in the screenshot for the phone view. Of course, you can use it on the phone, but typically you would use it on a laptop or something.
This is the admin user view mainly. So
yeah, this is not Pipedrive, but this is the the piece in the middle that connects Seidat and Pipedrive. And here you create the automations. You create them once, and then they're on the background just working for you. But yeah, to go one step back, quickly to describe how the integration is done, how you set up the integration, how you connect the two. First, like I mentioned, the Seidat application is now published in Pipedrive Marketplace today, actually. So it's there. You can go there if you're logged into your Pipedrive account. You just go to the Seidat's page, you click install now, you read the documentations if you choose to, and then allow an install, and then you're pretty much already halfway through. You can then go back to your Seidat team, get the API key under team settings, go back to the install process, fill in the API key, press save, and then you're good to go. Then the integration is already done. You don't need to necessarily do anything else if you don't want to use the automations. If you just want to create the links or copy the presentations and create the links manually from Pipedrive, that's all you need to do. But typically, what I recommend and how most people most likely will use this is that they will create some automations. The automation creation is pretty easy. I will show you the live view of it. We have created one to speed up this webinar, but you start to create it in
the Pipedrive application.
The Pipedrive application, and then you go forward. I will show you it more easily there. And just a second, I will actually start to view it or show it now. So first, this is the marketplace, Pipedrive marketplace that I have here now. I've logged into my Pipedrive account, and if I wouldn't have this application already installed, which I installed in the finished webinar just an hour ago, I could click here, install now, and then the process is, like we mentioned, just a few more steps. And in the team that you have, you need to be an admin in the beginning, and you need to have a team created. But once you go here, team settings, API keys and Zapier, then you can copy the API key and then input that back, and then you have the automation or the integration done. And once you have it done, you have this kind of tool in the between Seidat and Pipedrive. You can access this, and all your teammates can access it also, but they need to be logged in to their Pipedrive account. So if I have this here now in a team called My Sales Team, Juho couldn't just come here and build these automations if he's not invited to our company's Pipedrive. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But this is pipedrive.seidat.com. You can also find that in the support articles that we have, and I'm going to show them just in a bit. But here, we have the automation that I already created. I could start create a new one. I can have as many automations as I want, and there might be use case for a few of them, but with one you can already automate quite a lot. This is automation that is now created for the offer or the proposals. First thing I did in the last webinar, I gave the automation a name. It's now offer creator 1.0. And then the next thing I can do, I can select a trigger. So trigger typically is what sets the automation forward. We have two options. We have deal filters. So those are any deal filters that you have in your Pipedrive. They can be a custom one. For example, one deal 30 days ago in Finland, for example, or in Stockholm or wherever. Or you can have the more traditional one that is now selected for this. It's deal stages. So when you have a pipeline, you have different stages there. Once the deal hits a certain stage that we select, then the automation will trigger and it will go forward. I've not selected here the proposal made trigger or stage as a trigger. I've also selected the duplicate a presentation, find and replace text, and create a share link. So that's the full thing now. We have a few other options if you want to go more limited. If you want to only duplicate a presentation, create a link to it, that might be a use case. If you're only you don't have the content in Pipedrive, or there is nothing that you need to copy to the presentation, then
if there's nothing to personalize in them,
then you don't need it. Or if you just want to create a share link to an existing presentation, that might be the guide again that you want to send to the client. Then I've selected just a proposal template. I could select any presentation in the team that the team has, and that's like the automation setup, the beginning of it. Then what the next thing is that I can give it a name. I've given it, well, this is proposal in Finnish, and then I've added like a placeholder, or what would you call this? What is this?
There's many names for that. One word is merge tag.
All right. Yeah. Not the word you use.
But placeholder is even better.
Yeah. Yeah, placeholder. So you can have any of the, like I think they're fields. Are they fields in Pipedrive?
Yeah, custom fields.
Custom fields, and so you can have any custom field from the deal in part of the name, and the same fields or these placeholders are what you use to find and replace the text. So this automation has automatically found the fields that will be replaced from the presentation by the data from Pipedrive, and we've already set them. But you could just choose to go with something else. You can have the weighted value or whatever you want in this. Then I've already also done the tags part. So tags are only in Seidat. They're not really something that the Pipedrive takes into account, but the tags are especially useful if you have, let's say, thousands of presentations. You might not remember all of their names. So tags are like buttons that you press, and then it filters out all other presentations that do not meet that tag in Seidat. So I've had proposal tag salesperson 1, so I might be salesperson 1. I would of course change it to Joona, but now it's just the default. But anyway, I could choose any tags to be added. This it could be something else. And then last but not least, the Pipedrive activities. They are now on. As a default, they're off, so you can select if you want them there or not. But the first thing is share link tracker, and essentially this means that once the link has been opened, it will create an activity for the deal, for the salesperson, and every time a link has been open, it will create a new one. And because there can be, in a short time, there can be multiple openings. Let's say we have a meeting, you have a few of your colleagues, I send to all of you the same link, all of you open it. I don't want 3 different activities. So I would most likely put some sort of a cooldown thing here, which we have that blocks any new activities to be added in this time frame. This was really good job by Zimple to add that in. Very important. And then the e-signature tracker. Once the e-signature process is done, you can add an activity. And actually, we're going to show you at the end, or show you. He's done an example of an activity or
automated activity.
Automated activity. There's so many different terms. Automated activity in Pipedrive. So it's not really Seidat related, but uses the activity as the trigger to start. So you can use those in different kind of use cases. But yeah, to highlight, this is only what you need to do once. It is quite simple to do.
Yes, it is. And whenever you have any trouble with the automations, whether it's like a Seidat integration automation, I believe you can help. And whether it's about Pipedrive automations themselves, we are here to help you, I'd say. So this is just like if you create some automations, you just need to do them once in this view, and only your admin user needs to do this. And then all the users that are just using the CRM system and doing the sales job, they don't need to worry about the automation. They just see a new presentation up here whenever they need it. Yeah.
They think it's magic.
Yes.
Essentially. Yeah. And one thing I actually didn't mention by now, I think, is that we offer for all the new, or you don't need to be a new Seidat user, but if you start to use this integration, we offer for free half-an-hour session where we can help you guys and discuss more about the need you have. So this is something you can use, and we want to help everyone using it and get you guys on the way.
Yeah, because we also want to have good reviews in the marketplace application to get this thrive there.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We're going to show you how it looks in Pipedrive, but that's how you start to build those automations. But let's jump to Pipedrive. And this is where Oreo salespeople are more fish in the water. They know how to use Pipedrive. So you have deals in different stages. Well, they're all now company XYZ Ltd deals here. But the idea is that once you move the deal to the stage where you have the automation running, you could essentially have in any of these stages. If you need that, you move the deal there, and then the automation will trigger. It will run. And now I can see here that I have the link now created. So the automation created that. Actually, let me refresh. And then, oh yeah, they're a bit lower down. I didn't see them. They were there. So yeah, you have the link in the widget, or you had the more correct term.
The left panel over there, it's called like a custom app panel, which we have created only for the Seidat widget. And this is something that it's really cool that you can actually create your own custom applications within Pipedrive and make it look and feel the same way Pipedrive feels itself as well.
Yeah. So it's automatically there once you install the integration. And actually from here, before I jump to those activities, you can start to create the new presentations or the new links to an existing presentation just by clicking the create link or presentation. And then, well, this is pretty straightforward, but it can be started from there. But yeah, from here, actually, this is a bit older deal, so it only triggers once per automation, so it didn't trigger again. But anyways, we have here notes, and now if I simulate that some customer would open the link, I'll open this in incognito. The reason I'm opening it in incognito is that if I would open it, actually, I need to. I'll quickly create. There's a demo effect. I deleted the presentation that was linked here, and because the automation didn't run again, because it's already ran.
Yeah, while you are fixing it, I'm gonna explain what you were about to say. So the Seidat doesn't notice the visitors from, if you have a Seidat account, then you're not counted as a link opener, so that we don't flood the whole Pipedrive with those links.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're the salesperson, you typically would check like, how does it look? Is it all right? You don't want to have activities like start to appear immediately. You only want them once the customer opens them. All right, that was the demo effects already done. No more of those, and that was because I was using like the old deals. But whatever, I'll open this now in incognito, like I was supposed to. And now I have the presentation here open. Well, you don't see it in the view, but anyways, now I can see that once I refresh this, I can see that link views are now 1. And since I had the activities thing on, now it has been, or an activity has been added, so it's under planned, and I could go here and mark it as done. I could go and create another one, but anyways, it will automatically add that activity. And now if I have the 12-hour cooldown, if the customer would open it again within those 12 hours, it wouldn't trigger again. And same if we would start the e-signature process. Well, we're not gonna show it in this webinar, but if we would start that, and once that would be done, it would add an activity here also. Yeah, but I think that's pretty much it. Well, yeah, actually no. Let me show you the note taking. So I open this presentation, and this would be during the meeting typically that I would be presenting you. I can present with the link, or like I'm presenting now with the screen share, but I would open the presenter view myself. Of course, I wouldn't show this to the client, but that's easy to do. But now I'm just demonstrating. I would go here, and it will start to add the log of the slides that I will show. And I could go there. Let me just zoom out the font a bit. I could just type in whatever I want here. Let's say I will go to development phases. Juho, say something.
How is your development team happy with us using Cobalt as our main coding language?
I'm a man, I cannot speak and write at the same time, but whatever. I wrote that down here. I could say like, I don't know, I'm not a coder. I will come back to you.
Yeah.
And of course, this is valuable to have then in the Pipedrive. So then I will go back to the deal view, and now, ta-da! We have the note here.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
There is the Juho's question: how is our dev team using blah 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 added here? And if I would now go back to the presentation, I would update it. It would then also update the note here. So that's
nice.
Really cool. Yeah,
efficient.
It is. Yeah, it is saving your time.
like if all the cornerstones of sales are the direction, amount, or quantity, direction, quantity, and quality, then this is definitely about the quality and like really high quality, like the whole process and the presentation. It's a unique system to have within Pipedrive, I'd say.
Hopefully it is. Unique is good, I guess. But yeah, I think that's the essentials of the. There would be some other minute things that we could show, cool things, but I guess that's it. But then one thing that you can use then after those things have gone forward, you might have the proposal e-signed, and Juho has created few examples of workflow automations that I will show you now, and Juho can briefly introduce them to us. I will.
Yeah, this is like one example of an automation that is triggered by the activity, which is now automatically created by this Seidat integration. And we've just given it some conditions so that it always starts with Seidat share, the subject. And every time this kind of activity is created, we know that it's because somebody has clicked the link and opened up the presentation. And the next step is that we wait for 5 days, and then we could create our new activity, or we could create a direct email, automatic email to the client saying that, hey, perhaps you have time to talk about the presentation since it has been 5 days you last opened the presentation, etc. So this is basically helping your salespeople to focus on the right things rather than remembering stuff that the system could remember for them. And the other automation that I created there earlier, it's about the e-signature phase. This is an example how you can enhance the e-signature process as well. In this example, same way, it triggers whenever this kind of activity is created, so that say that e-signature has been done. We want to update the deal in this example so that the deal is automatically won, and the stage is also changed to the last stage, or whatever the process is within your Pipedrive. This is one typical way, and this is the good timing to send out some information to the deployment team or the onboarding team to for them to check out what has been sold and what are the notes taken from the presentation in this case. So we're very well thought of the whole life cycle, and when we developed this system, we already and always kept in mind that Pipedrive already has really comprehensive workflow automation configuration system. So we didn't want to rebuild it within the Seidat integration. We wanted to create it in a way that you would be able to do it more enhanced way. And like I said, whenever you have some trouble with the automations within Pipedrive, you just contact Zimple.
Yeah, you know who to call.
Yeah.
But
yes.
that's quite good. Then the last thing before we jump to any questions that you guys might have on the other side of the line, a few requirements that are in place that I guess hopefully most of you already tick. But from Seidat's side, to be able to use this integration, or actually any integration, you need a paid team that is starting 49 euros a month for the team. That is the team price. And you can tell from Pipedrive side.
Yeah, from Pipedrive side, all the license types support these kind of marketplace applications. You can, by the way, find this Seidat application in the marketplace.pipedrive.com and just look for Seidat. And actually, the integration in the marketplace, that's for free. Only thing you need is Seidat license and then Pipedrive license. You can work around with the essential account as well, which is the lowest license level, but we would recommend to go to the advanced or professional for those workflow automation possibilities, because those are really something that make the sales work more efficient.
Yeah, and again, you know who to call if you need help with those. But yeah, for those who are online, if you have any questions, now is the perfect time to shoot them in the chat or opening your mic. It might be nervous thing to do, but yeah, we're still here for a minute or two if you have them. But if not, I would like to thank from Seidat's side, based on the good feedback we've already gotten for the integration. I would like to thank Zimple also. And yeah.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah.
And hopefully we see you again using the Seidat system.
Yeah. I see no questions, so we're heading home then. All right. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you.